Welcome back to A Better Choice Homestead. My name is Kelly, and on my channel I focus on food, growing it, preparing it, and preserving it. I do 3 videos a week. On Sundays, it's usually about the garden, the harvest from the garden, preserving the harvest from the garden, sometimes from the farmer's market. On Tuesdays, I do a Cook With Me segment called Tasty Tuesday, where I show how to make quick, easy, healthy, nutritious, and delicious meals that you can usually get onto your table in 30 minutes or less. And on Friday, it's about freeze drying, and that's what we're going to be doing today. I am really excited about getting this stuff freeze dried and then turning it into some amazing products. So I've actually done a little bit of one of these on another video, but we are now towards the end of the growing season, at least in my region. So I'm calling it quits on these, and we're going to bulk up the little bit of stash that I've already done. This I have not done before, but I am super excited about it, and I will tell you why. So the big reveal here is the calendula from the garden. These were volunteers this year in my garden because I have grown them for the last handful of years, and I have quite a bit of flowers in here. I've taken the whole flower head, so the petals as well as the base of the flower, and I honestly don't know what that's called, but I've just snipped it where the stem ends and the flower begins. And this is from, let's see, 1, 2, 3, probably 6 or 8 plants in all that just grew as volunteers. So happy to have this. And over here, I have yarrow leaves. Now, I didn't get to this early in the spring, so I don't have any flowers, but that's okay. These feather-like fronds, which are the leaves of the plant, have incredible medicinal properties. Everything here is about health, and a lot of it is skin health, but it's more than that. So I don't have all of this memorized. I'm going to go to my handy dandy Rolodex here. When I preserve food or herbs or flowers or anything like that, I write it down. I write it down because in the future I might not have access to that information, and I want to be able to have something quick that I can grab to know what it is I need to heal my body, help my body or my family. So every ingredient that I work with has its own card, and then based on the medicinal or health and nutritional properties of that ingredient, I also have a card for that. So for example, yarrow and calendula is really good for skin health, and that's noted on their cards. But then I also have a card for skin health that lists both yarrow and calendula. So let's take a look at this. All right, let's start with the yarrow. So yarrow is loaded with flavonoids, and they're going to offer you tremendous digestion support. They're also going to help with heartburn. So overall digestion. They can help with menstrual cramps too, because they help relieve muscle cramping. So they can help with muscle cramps. And that's both in the uterus and also in your intestines. They just relax those contracting muscles. This also helps with anxiety and insomnia because it acts as a mild sedative. What I want it for, what I'm really excited to have this for, is because it is incredible for wound healing. It helps stop bleeding. It speeds up healing. You can put the crushed up leaves directly onto a wound. I recently used this to treat my dog for a really nasty hot spot. It was gone in 2 days. It was amazing. The inflammation went down within 12 hours. He stopped being bothered by it within 24 hours. It was amazing. You can also make a tea out of this to help when you have a fever or a cold. It just helps reduce those symptoms and makes you feel better. It's also incredible for mouth issues, toothaches, or canker sores, mouth ulcers. It reduces inflammation, it alleviates the pain, and it actually heals. I mentioned on another video, I just mentioned it, that I had family here. I had family here a lot this summer. But on one stay, one family member was dealing with a mouth full of canker sores. It made it hard to eat, it made it hard to drink, to talk, to smile, all of it. We did have some like Biotine mouthwash because my son has issues with mouth pain as well. She tried that and it didn't really do a whole lot for her. So I said, you know what, let me make you some Yarrow tea. She's dealt with canker sores her entire life and they're really bad. And they flare up pretty chronically and she just has to suffer through it. She usually gets OTCs and just suffers through it for a couple of weeks until they start to self-resolve. I gave her just I made a tea and she just used it as a mouthwash. And within 24 hours, every single ulcer in her mouth was completely gone. It was like magic. I am absolutely sold on this stuff for mouth pain. It also helps with IBS relief and with acne. So same family member. She does deal with some acne breakouts once in a while. So we had made a tea out of this and just put it in a mason jar with a lid on it. And then she would take a clean, what do you call those? Just the cotton face cleaning swabs, dip it in there and dab it on her acne. And again, within 24 hours, it was gone. So I am sold on Yarrow. I grow it in my yard. I grow it very, very contained in a container because it can take over. But what an incredibly powerful plant to have at your disposal. Now, caution when using if pregnant. It has been known to cause miscarriages. Of course, if you're pregnant, of course, if you have health issues, talk to your doctor about things before you start supplementing your diet with them. I am not a doctor. I am only giving information from my own personal point of view based on what has worked for me and or what I like to use. But Yarrow has been used globally since ancient times. It's been used to treat wounds, bleeding, headache, inflammation, pain, flatulence even. And lately, the therapeutic uses have been confirmed by new experimental and clinical studies. So this is incredible. And, you know, our modern medicine today is run by big pharma. They don't want to talk about the power of herbs. They don't want you going to your yard and getting something for free when you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars over the course of a year to treat your ailments. I don't believe in that. I believe in being able to be self-reliant as much as possible. Yes, I do believe that there are times when we need things from the doctor that is from a pharmaceutical company, absolutely 100%, but not everything requires that, in my own opinion. All right, moving on to calendula. If you're allergic to daisies or aster family, don't try this. Don't use this. Do a patch test on your skin to see if you're going to have any type of an allergic reaction. It is rare, but it does happen. And this can also interact with some blood thinning medication as well as immunosuppressant medications. So do your own research. Don't put anything in or on your body unless you know that it's going to be okay for you. But calendula is incredible for wounds. It reduces inflammation and it supports new cell growth. You can use it as an ointment, a salve, for cuts, burns, scrapes, bruises, you name it. This is good for that. It's also great for diaper rash. You can use it infused in a cream and it will help soothe and protect. And in fact, this is an ingredient typically in your diaper rash creams that you can buy at the store because it works. It's also good for eczema. So this is anti-inflammatory and it helps relieve itching, dryness, redness. This is also good for acne because it helps prevent the breakouts. This is an amazing topical treatment for sunburn. It helps heal with the anti-inflammatory properties, but it also helps soothe and heal. Also good for mouth ulcers by reducing inflammation. So you can use this as a mouthwash. This is also good for a moisturizer. That's what I plan to use this for. It's anti-inflammatory, it's anti-drying, it helps reduce fine lines and wrinkles. And because I am in my mid-50s, that is a little bit important to me. So that is what I plan to use this mostly for. This can also be used for stretch marks. You can make this into a cream and apply it daily on stretch marks because it has a lot of carotenoids in them, which helps skin cells regenerate. So overall, the petals and the leaves can be used orally, topically, in a cream or an ointment, in a tincture, in a capsule, in an oil. And calendula is found in a lot of over-the-counter stuff, including first aid gels, sunscreen, and I did also mention the diaper rash. The petals of the flower are full of flavonoids, which are a tremendous anti-inflammatory. They help reduce pain, swelling, inflammation, and in fact, this is a very, very global popular treatment for things like arthritis or even gingivitis. So I am 100% thrilled to finally be getting these into my freeze dryer. And I will, sometime in the next couple of months, I will show another video where I make product out of these. But for now, we're just gonna get them dry. We're gonna get them into some mason jars, and then we'll just go from there. So let's get these over to the freeze dryer. Now I do have to set the freeze dryer down to 95 degrees and a lower extra dry time because I don't want to risk damaging any of the amazing properties in here. So let's go do that and then we'll get these loaded. All right, to get this going for herbs where you want to protect the medicinal quality of what you're putting in here, you're going to push customize. Right now I have this set on a 15-hour extra dry cycle. I'm going to back that back down. I don't need it to go for that long. I'm going to do 4 hours. And for dry temp, the default is 125 for the normal mode, and I'm going to drop that down to 95. So we've got 95 Fahrenheit for the dry temp, and we've got a 4-hour extra dry time cycle. And I'm going to just hit save and then start. This needs 15 minutes to cool the chamber down before we can load the trays. So I'll see you back here in 15 minutes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get everything loaded in now. We're actually at the 18-minute mark. Here is our first tray of the lovely calendula. Another tray of lovely calendula. Tray 1 of our yarrow leaves. Tray 2, which has a little more on it. Next year, I will absolutely do this in the spring. I will get all the new leaves, all the new flowers, and just bulk up on this because this is a medicine cabinet staple for sure. Being able to treat wounds, oh my goodness, stop bleeding, come on. Treat mouth ulcers, cramps, you name it. All right, next I need to close the drain valve. And then just push continue on the machine. It's going to go into a freezing process. These are frozen. Normally, I do not pre-freeze my herbs and medicinals, but because I was collecting the flowers over time, I had to do that. This is not going to take long. Like I said, they are pre-frozen. Then it'll go into a sublimate phase, extracting all the moisture, trapping it against the inside drum in the form of gas, bypassing the liquid state, which is how the food doesn't change in shape or size. The cellular walls are not damaged. Then it's going to go into an extra dry phase. And when we are at that point, I will bring you back and we will get this packaged up. All right, this should be good to go. This has been going for just under 19 hours. I did push extra dry time once this morning because I was knee deep in the middle of something when this went off. So this probably would have been done somewhere between 15 and 16 hours. But we'll verify that they're dry. First, I need to open the drain valve. And now that the pressure has been released, I can go ahead and open the door. Now let's take a look and see what we've got. Let's see if this is dry. Oh yeah, this is totally dry. The calendula should be the same. We've got lots of pretty flowers here. And yes, yep, totally dry. So let's get these into the kitchen and we'll get them packaged up. I am super excited about being able to get these into some jars and turn them into some amazing products. I know in the beginning of this video, I kind of went through the medicinal properties of these. I we just want to say again that you should really do your own research, talk to your doctor. I am not advocating using anything as a supplement or a topical that you might have a bad reaction to. Do your own research. But this is a blessing in my household, and I'm thrilled to have it. This is the little jar of calendula that I did earlier in the season. So we are going to just combine all the flowers together in one jar. I have a half-gallon mason jar here. I'm going to put these freshly done flowers on the bottom and add the older flowers on top. I might need 2 jars for this. I think I can smush those down just a bit. Oh yeah. Although this second tray is a little fuller, so I might just keep this jar intact and add a little bit to that jar. We'll see. At this point, the flowers feel like straw. They're very, very dry. That is a lot of calendula. I'm not worried about smushing the flowers because it's not going to make a difference in the product or the end result. But I don't want to completely destroy them aesthetically if I don't have to. So I'm just pushing them down a little bit. I'm going to leave it like that. That is pretty darn full. And so I'm just going to put the rest of them, which is just a very small amount, back into the quart size jar. And I'll just use the quart size jar before I break into the half-gallon jar. Just going to get some lids on these. And then I am just going to vacuum seal these. I haven't been doing a lot of vacuum sealing because I used to use the one that came with my food saver, and that stopped working about a year ago. But I just got a battery operated, well, it's not battery operated, it's rechargeable. But I just got an individual one. So I will be doing this more often. Nice and sealed. Nice and sealed. Now we have our yarrow. Now these are long fronds, and there is going to be no way around it. I am going to have to kind of break them in half at least to get them into the jar, and there's no problem with that. But I think I'm going to try to bundle them all up together before I put them down the mouth of the jar. That one's a good size. And that's a good size. And it's going to make a little bit of a mess because they're very, very delicate. Now, if you make a tea out of either of these, you're just going to steep this in some hot water. I would recommend, if you're going to do a Yarrow tea, to get one of those like stainless steel mesh loose tea balls, because this is not going to stay intact. It's very delicate. And now this is going to go on my shelf next to my comfrey, which I use a lot as well. Also for pain, inflammation, healing of skin issues like bruises. I use it a lot on my back because I have broken my back and ruptured 9 discs in my back, and I do tend to have a lot of lower back pain, and the comfrey does help. I've made that into a salve. I'll be making more of that at some point here, and I can do that on video. Let's get the rest of this in that jar. Don't want to waste any of it. Got a few calendula petals there too, so good enough. And voila. In case you can't tell, I'm pretty excited about this. Just knowing that I have on hand things that I can reach for, grab, and use if I'm not able to get to the doctor, I don't want to go to the doctor or the vet, I am just thrilled about this. The more, in my own personal opinion, the more that we can be self-reliant and self-sufficient, the better off we will all be. And fully sealed. Look how lovely. Health in a jar. And while this may not be exciting to look at, it is certainly exciting to add to my medicine cabinet. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Freeze Dry Friday, Herbal Medicine Edition. My name is Kelly. You're at A Better Choice Homestead, and I do hope you come back and visit again soon.